I have heard this one theory. I don't think it's scientific. It's just, I feel like one person came up with a rumor and it's just passed on. But have you all heard about the fact that it takes half the duration of your relationship to move on?
I don't think so. I feel like it takes a lot longer, regardless of how long the thing was. If it was something intense to you, it's gonna take its time to
Heal.
undo itself. Yeah.
Yeah.
In that regard, like if you are a 40-year-old man who has been in love with a person for 20 years, right? And that person, for example, broke up or passed away. So you're saying the next 10 years is what that person will be like recuperating from that relationship. That's
No,
the
like-
math you broke down for me. I'm just
Yeah, I'm so
I'm
confused.
simplifying
right now,
it even
I don't know.
further.
Let me give you all
So
an
at 50 he'll
example.
find love again, you're
Say
saying.
you dated someone for 6 months.
Okay.
And you all broke up. Then hypothetically you will move on 3 months from the
That's the Gen Z problem. They're
breakup.
like 6 months is a good relationship. I'm saying 20 years and a lifelong commitment.
20 years?
6 months. Trends are
20
changing.
years के बाद heartbreak हो गया तो बस बाबा जी
Yeah.
boring बना दो इस रात को. Like I can't. If I'm giving 20 years to something, it better work.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if they die, dude? Like,
Oh.
then,
Then-
it's
then
gonna be
you-
salty, like, how could you?
Then you make them,
No,
embalm them and
I'll,
keep them around for like few more years.
for 10 years and then you
Taxidermy
can move
that
on.
shit.
If they die, then back to therapy.
Yeah.
That's my solution. I have some breakup lessons that people have learned the hard way, and I want to know if you guys agree or disagree to it.
Okay.
Okay? So the first one is, I learned to stop putting myself last in the hope that someone else will put me first.
Agreed. As I said, self-worth is important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really important. And it's something you learn sometimes only after your heart gets broken, I feel. It's better to be alone than with the wrong person.
Hells to the yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like for me, like I hated being alone, which is why like I feel like from when like I became of dateable age, like basically my parents sent me out to college. Since then till like my like most defining heartbreak, there were a few years between college and like my biggest heartbreak where I was just serially getting into one relationship after another, because I realize now that it was because I was just the thought of being alone just by myself
Yeah.
was so scary, and eventually I had to confront it, and it was the best thing. It was like a long process, and like I came out of it.
If you have to convince someone to be with you, don't.
I feel like if someone doesn't want to be with you, they won't. For me also, like once I've made up my mind about someone, it's not like I'm like, now you have to convince me, give your PPT. I want to see like what points you
Yeah.
are going to
There's
bring
no
forth.
negotiating.
So no, not for me. Like I would try to avoid that, regardless of which way it's coming from.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to impress people, because by the sheer virtue of who you are, they'll like you. And if they don't, then as you said, like, it's not possible to go beyond that. Like and the theory that opposites attract is so true. Like for your crazy, somebody will match that sanity in the range of things. So you'll find, and that's the beauty of finding love, is that when you find it, it just is. There's none of this mehnat. There's none of this exertion. Like, oh, do I have to go at 5 and meet them? You'll be automatically at that place at 5 and you'll be with them.
Yeah.
It's just like it
becomes
happens like this.
muscle
It's
memory,
so
I guess.
so simple.
Yeah, I think it has a little bit to do with you knowing your self-worth also. Like,
Yeah.
you shouldn't have to convince someone to be with you.
Yeah, and you also like become more aware of what you like and what you don't. So like invariably you're not gonna, go towards a person who's just going to test that at every step.
It's all a subject of maturity, right? Like slowly it builds up. You understand who you are as a person, self-worth and everything.
Do you guys have general tips, say, for the listeners? That what would you, if say you're speaking to someone who's gone through a heartbreak, what are some quick things that you would tell them so that it helps them,
I think from my personal experience is just understanding and accepting that it's gonna take time, because like when you're in that situation, you just wanna be like, I just wanna do whatever I can to not feel like this anymore, and like you might get temporary relief. Usually, it's self-destructive habits, and just whatever is self-destructive for you. But know that like you have to wake up with yourself the next morning, and then you'll probably feel the same way you felt before you did that.
Yeah.
So yeah, like for me, accepting that took a really long time. Like I would say like years even, before like I finally made my peace with that. And like rebuilding yourself is probably something you should be doing of every few years anyway. So like just focus on that, and it's gonna be tough. Like I mean, yeah, it's not. It's definitely not easy for me. It's never been easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you have to give yourself that time, no matter how much time it is. It might be different for different people, but
Half the duration of the relationship.
कि आज से calendar चालू. I can't stress enough. I know it'll take a while. Delete all of those photos.
delete your Instagram.
Yeah, you have to be alone for a while. You have to be learning to be single for a while. This idea that somebody's validation means anything for your existence is not true. And you have to be okay falling down and being okay being down there, you know?
Yeah.
The little pit that you have made for yourself, it's okay. Wallow in your sorrow, you know, just like marinate in your tears, and then you will come out better. It's like a whole Jesus analogy, right? You come out of the cave like, yes, I'm risen, and now where's the booty? That's
Yeah, I actually fully agree with this because I know of couples who are like, oh, we've decided to stay friends. Good for you guys, but trust me, you will move on so much faster and so much more efficiently if you cut off. Like,
Yeah.
I had this situation where I broke up with a guy after 3 years of dating him, and we kept, trying to be friends, and then he wanted to be friends, and I wanted, like, I had hope that we'd get back. So it was just a cycle that kept repeating where he would come back and then we would talk again. I would be like, hey, do you want to talk? Like, do you want to get back? He'd say no. And then finally when I cut him off, like, it took a while, but when I did, it was painful. Like you said, I had to express my grief. I had to go through that pain, but it genuinely helped me move on so much faster.
100%, dude.
it's very important to understand that we are enough, you know, like as it's a very age old idea, and it's important also for a lot of us to find that love, you know, like who doesn't want to wake up next to a person and see them, you know, they're just like in their most drooly glory, just being themselves. I'm like, yeah, I want that. I want to wake up, and I have
Yeah.
that now in my life. I'm just gonna if I'm gonna give anybody an advice, it's gonna be from the perspective of how I've lived my life. Is that at some point I felt I have nothing, and today I have everything I ever aspired as a young gay boy in India, by the way, which a lot of people still like strive for. I have a live-in partner, I have my cats, I have an apartment, I have like a great view of Bombay City. All these things I would never imagine having. All of it happened because I learned to let go and learned that I am enough. So when I wake up today as an entity, I wake up as Navin Narona, and then my partner is there with me, Abhi is there with me. But together we make a cohesive team. So we'll find someone someday where like togetherness only becomes a matter of fact, like you're existing. Okay, आज पानी order किया, हाँ पानी order किया. Like, you know, what about laundry? I'll take care of it. Like those are the things that it boils down to. All this love, passion, movie देखेंगे, घूमने जाएंगे, और वो सब मर जाएगा. What remains is कपड़ा कौन धोएगा. So and when you find that person is when life is worth living. Until then, it's all a matter of like trial and error, learn and unlearn.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
If you guys enjoyed listening to this episode, then make sure you tune in every week on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcast from. And don't forget to give us a nice rating and review.